There's a whole series of plants that are adapted for living at the edge, where salt water only comes periodically. And those are the indicators we can use in order to look for the effects of rising sea level. One of the spectacular things about the Port Royal Sound system is that it is dominated by the plant Spartina alterniflora, often called cordgrass. And it's the only plant on the East Coast, north of the tropics, that's adapted for living in salt water. Here are 3 plants that cannot tolerate regular inundation of the ocean, but it can handle periodic influence of salt. One of them is this plant right here called black needle rush, Juncus romerianus. And it is probably one of the best visual indicators that you're in the transition zone between the influence of salt water and fresh water. In addition, we have some small CI oxide daisies, and also even the plants here that are creating turf. This is called saltgrass, Disticus spigata. When you see these plants, you know you're right at the edge of the fringe of the impact of rising sea level. But if you want to know whether or not sea level is rising or not, it's not the live plants that give you the information you need, it's the dead ones. Right here is the remnant of an old live oak. It could never have grown out in a salt marsh because trees can't grow in salt water. So obviously, this tree began growing when this place was well above sea level. Now that sea level has risen, killed its roots, this is all that remains. We've moved up higher in the marsh where we're now at the edge of the forest. And the 2 woody plants that can tolerate living right on the fringe of this salt marsh-influenced environment are the southern red cedar and the cabbage palmetto. But even those plants have their limits that they can tolerate. And so one of the key signs of rising sea level along the southern coast is to find dead red cedars and dead cabbage palmettos fringing the edge. Everywhere that you see that, you know that that shoreline is being submerged by rising sea level. So with that knowledge in hand, start reading the landscape and you can see where the ocean is having its greatest impact.